late. All right, thank you everybody for being here this evening. We will call the Belvedere City Council Committee of the Whole meeting of September 8th, 2025 to order. If the clerk will help me with the roll call, please.
Albertini?
Here.
Brereton?
Here.
Fleury?
Here.
Frank?
Here.
Gramkowski?
Here.
Hoynes?
Here.
McGee absent. Montalbano absent. Peterson?
Here.
Stevens?
Here.
8 present.
All right, thank you. Under public comment, I don't think we have anybody registered. I would like to mention, though, and Chief Shadle probably will mention it, but this Thursday, 9/11, at 8:46 a.m., we will have a remembrance at Station 1 on State Street.
Yes, sir, right in front of Station 1. Everybody's welcome to attend, but it's a short and honorable remembrance ceremony.
And I think it is important because I think so many times it seems like 9/11, we forget about that, but in fact, we need to remember that more than ever. So if anybody listening or anybody here can be in attendance, certainly you're welcome to attend in remembrance of 9/11, and that will probably commence at 8:46 a.m. So if you can be there a few minutes earlier, that would be wonderful. And then also, just so the council knows, and anybody listening knows, that the Boone County Council on Aging has decided that they are going to change their name for their nonprofit organization. They will be called Senior Connections. So if anybody asks you about the Boone County Council of Aging and they call it Senior Connections, everybody try and remember that, but it'll probably take some time before that, and I may never remember it, but I'll try. But anyhow, Senior Connections will be now what they will actually be called. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Public forum this evening, we have none. Reports, flipping the page, reports of boards, officers, boards, and special committees, building, planning, zoning, unfinished business, we have none. Item 2, building, planning, zoning, new business. Item A, building department update. Kip, Mr. Countryman, good evening.
Good evening. For the month of August, the department issued 106 permits for a value of construction just over $3.5 million. 97 of those were residential. As you can imagine, quite a few roofing permits we're issuing right now due to the storm. 9 were commercial, 4 single-family homes, some commercial projects of note. UW Health on South State is renovating some patient rooms there. We did some electrical upgrades at 720 Logistics. For property maintenance, we closed 31 cases. We have about 10 in progress, 3 ticketed, and that's my report. I'll answer any questions.
All right, if anybody has any questions for Mr. Countryman, now would be the time to ask. Feel free. All right, thank you, Kip. Item B, Planning Department update. Ms. Gina Delrose. Gina, good evening.
Good evening.
There are 2 properties listed this month, variance for fence height that will have a public hearing tomorrow, and also a property on Chrysler Drive just east of the McDonald's doing annexation and rezoning. The annexation that's next on the agenda this month. Site plans staying pretty consistent. This month is trying to get some catch up, some past projects for William Avenue and McPherson 7. Zoning certifications are picking up again.
A lot of multifamily ones popping up lately. And then Historic Preservation did decide on properties that are winning the award this year for preservation efforts. So that's always a really fun event. Those that get that kudos and that acknowledgement, they really appreciate it. Just wrapped up Heritage Day's budget. And for outside the office, I had a meeting in the Quad Cities for economic development, and I attended a couple different ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings.
All right, thank you, Gina. If there's any questions for Gina, feel free to ask. I know she can answer them. So, all right, hearing none. Thank you, Gina. And you set the table for item C. In your packet is a memo from Gina regarding 5147 Chrysler Drive annexation, dated August 29th, 2025. Ms. Delrose?
You have the memo in front of you, so I'll just summarize it. But the property has, currently has city water. It had water in 1980. In 2001, it paid for a sewer connection, but never connected for whatever reason. And now that the septic is failing, it definitely needs to connect to the sewer. It was a condition of the property selling. So in order to follow through on that connection, it is annexing into the city. When you annex in the city, you default to rural holding, which is why it has to also go through the rezoning for residential zoning. So this is on a strip of land where half the houses are in the city, half of them are in the county. As their wells and septic fail, they are coming in one at a time. So staff recommends a motion to approve the annexation agreement between the city of Belvedere and Joshua Robertson relating to 5147 Chrysler Drive, Belvedere, Illinois, 61008. And then a motion to annex the territory consisting of 5147 Chrysler Drive, Belvedere, Illinois, 61008.
All right, and both these will come back as separate ordinances. Item 1, first, if I could have a motion to approve the annexation agreement, as Ms. Delrose mentioned, between the city of Belvedere and Joshua Robertson relating to 5147 Chrysler Drive, Belvedere, Illinois, 61008. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Hoynes, thank you, and a second by Alderman Albertini. Thank you. All right, if there's any questions, any comments? Alderwoman Gramkowski?
Thank you, Mayor. Gina, just curious, what's the timeline for completing the sewer connection and the annexation?
So the annexation will be done, we'll have its final vote at City Council October 6th. As far as sewer connection, that's more of a Brent question.
The connection fees, everything's been paid, so they get the permitting process through the building department to do the installation, and then once the timing of their contractor, they hire their own contractor to put that in. But since the septic system did not pass, I'd assume it's gonna be done in a timely manner.
Any idea? Like 3 months?
The applicant's representative is here.
As soon as it's approved, we would have already had it done. We're just going through the process.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you. Item 2, be a motion to annex the territory consisting of 5147 Chrysler Drive, Belvedere, Illinois, 61008. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Peterson, second by Alderman Stevens. Thank you both. Any questions, any comments regarding that motion? Alderman Peterson?
Just one, these properties aren't also, the other 1 or 2 odd lots are not also surrounded by, this is strictly a contiguous annexation, right? And we don't also have them surrounded, none of them surrounded?
Correct. It's contiguous. It's not subject to forced annexation or anything like that.
And the only thing driving these is the failure of their septic, correct? Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And if there's any opposed? All right, that motion passed. Thank you. Item 3, Public Works unfinished business. We have none. Item 4, Public Works new business. Item A, Public Works Department update. Director Anderson, good evening.
Good evening, thank you, Your Honor. On your desk tonight, there is an intergovernmental agreement form for sanitary sewer system lining. I did not get this until late Friday, so I didn't have a chance to get it on the agenda for tonight's committee meeting. However, we have $100,000 in our capital budget this year for sanitary sewer for lining. We have talked to Four River Sanitary Authority and asked if we could become part of their contract. They do sewer lining on an annual basis, and they do a lot more than we do. So if we could tag along with them, we'd get the advantage of a cost discount just because of the volume that they do. And they have agreed to do that for us. This is the agreement to allow us to do that. So this is just for information for tonight. However, it will be on the agenda for next Monday night's council meeting. It'll require 2 motions, one to waive the committee requirement and the second motion to approve the agreement. And then once this gets approved, then it'll go back to Four Rivers so their board can approve it also and be included. The work will be done, it's gonna go out to bid later this month. And then the contract time, it'll be done either late this fall or early next spring probably. But again, it's for informational purposes for tonight, but if you have any questions, I can answer those.
All right. Alderman Peterson?
Thanks, Mayor. I do have, Director Anderson, that if we have 100,000 budgeted for it, do you have an idea of how many lineal feet that's gonna?
The original list that we had put together to get came based on their pricing and their guesstimates that they were coming up with as they were putting their own work together, was going to be closer to 200,000. So we did back out some quantities. So on the last page of the agreement, you'll see the quantity that we have included. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be maybe around 120,000. So the extra 20,000 we can take out of sewer, our sanitary sewer capital, our savings account, if you will, where the 100,000 is budgeted. We can go that far. So I'm guessing it's going to be in the 100 to 120,000 range.
Thanks, Brad.
Director, is there any specific areas that has been an issue?
So yeah, we're going through, as you know, when we have the storms and stuff, we'll more than double our incoming flow at the wastewater treatment plant. We've identified the section of sanitary trunk sewer that goes through what is now the Oak Brook Road subdivision, but follows that creek that goes through that subdivision. So that's the section that we're going to do first. And we think we can get the biggest bang for our buck as far as how much infiltration we're seeing in that area. If you recall, we sealed manholes along that trunk line up and down, and this would actually do the pipe itself between those manholes.
All right. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. Regardless, we're going to get more for our money by going this route with Four Rivers.
Yes, it's very gracious of them to do that, similar to what we do with the city of Rockford in our paint program, where they allow us to our quantities to be included in theirs, so we get the volume discount.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. All right, and that is for information, so you'll see it again next week. All right, thank you. Anything else, Director Anderson, to update?
Not for the update. We're still picking up branches from the storm. We'll be picking up branches for probably quite a while as more stuff gets being brought out to the curb. But we're currently on the south side, making another sweep, and then we'll be back on the north side as soon as we get the south side done.
Okay. And do you know, Director, did they come and clean up that, we talked about that a little earlier. I don't know if you had a chance to check regarding the brush pile that we've accumulated, and they've ground a lot of it, but.
Did not get a chance to get out there today. As of Thursday night when I was out there, there still was some pile left to be ground. But fortunately, all the grinding is at no cost to us this time around, as well as they're going to take away all of the mulch that, as a result, too, also at no cost. So that worked out well for us this time.
It did, significant savings, so thank you. All right, is there any other questions for Mr. Anderson? Feel free to ask. Hearing none, we'll move to item B, IDOT Safe Routes to School Program. In your packet is a memo from Craig Lawler dated September 3rd, 2025, regarding IDOT Safe Routes to School Program. and a funding application that the city will be doing in conjunction with the school district. And former Director Lawler can't be here, so Director Anderson?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an indication of the last time we did a Safe Routes to School program, by the way. So I
got it.
apologize. All the information in the memo is current and up to date. I just forgot to change the name. So 2025 Safe Routes to School program through IDOT is now accepting applications. And this year's program is capped at $250,000 per project. And this year, good news is there's no local match requirement of that 250. So we worked with the school district to come up, to put a project together which will include replacement at portions of Washington Academy and then installation of missing sidewalk, filling in some gaps around Perry School. We've received a proposal to complete the application process from CES in the amount not to exceed $6,000. I would recommend approval of the proposal from CES for the engineering services required to complete the 2025 IDOT Safe Routes to School program application at cost not to exceed $6,000. This work will be paid for from public benefit funds, and it is for all city or public sidewalk. It does not include any sidewalk on school property, which is also eligible for this work, but what we're proposing to do this time around is everything that's within the right-of-way.
Okay. All right, if I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Hoynes. Thank you both. Any questions, any concerns regarding that? I think it's obviously a good endeavor to go after that application, go after that funding.
And this work will be done in 2026.
All righty, if there's any questions, I know Director Anderson can answer that. Okay. All right, hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there are any opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you. And in item C, wastewater treatment plant facility plan improvements, preliminary engineering. In your packet is a memo from Director Anderson dated 9/3 of 2025 regarding facility plan improvements. Director Anderson?
A memo in your packet for the facility plan improvements preliminary engineering. The total estimated cost from Baxter and Woodman to complete the preliminary and design engineering required for the $87.3 million facility plan improvement project at the wastewater treatment plant, as outlined in their presentation at our last Public Works Committee, is $5,270,000. Their schedule indicates it will take 42 months to complete the preliminary and design engineering. Attached to this memo is a preliminary engineering work order from Baxter Woodman in a lump sum of $1,882,982. The preliminary engineering will take approximately 14 months to complete and includes submittal of the funding nomination form to the IEPA to begin the process of obtaining a loan through the Water Pollution Control Loan Program to pay for this project. Engineering expenses are loan eligible, however, a loan agreement will not be received until after the project is bid. Sewer depreciation has a current balance of approximately $400,000. In order to pay for the preliminary and design engineering prior to obtaining the IEPA loan, I would recommend that we borrow the money from the general fund. An ordinance providing for this loan is attached. I would recommend the following motions. 1, motion to forward the ordinance authorizing a loan from the general fund to the water and sewer fund to pay for the preliminary and design engineering required for the WWTP facility plan improvement project to the City Council for adoption. And then 2, a motion to approve the engineering services work order from Baxter and Woodman in the lump sum amount of $1,882,982 to complete the preliminary engineering for the wastewater treatment plant facility plan improvement project. This work will be paid for from the Sewer Department depreciation line item 611790 with a loan from the general fund. And I split this engineering up into these 2 phases just because of the time factor involved, with the first one taking 14 months and the balance, the rest of the 42 months to take in. And that basically allows for any changes made, anything else, updates that come through from IEPA throughout this process. So to start with, my recommendation is just for the preliminary engineering portion.
All right, thank you, Director. So item 1, we would need a motion to forward the ordinance authorizing a loan from the general fund to to the Water and Sewer Fund to pay for the preliminary and design engineering required for the wastewater treatment facility plan improvement project to the City Council for adoption. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Graham-Kowski, Alderwoman Graham-Kowski, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you both. Any questions, any comments regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. As you recall, Alderman Peterson?
Mayor, I just was going to ask if there's a contemplation of any interest to be paid on the repayment to general fund.
I would lobby for a zero interest loan.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and the reason obviously is it's our money. We will get it back. We should get it back. And, you know, it's for a project that, quite frankly, I don't know, if we waited on it, I think we would jeopardize not only low interest loan, but also the project in its entirety is something that we have been able to qualify for by getting, well, actually, if we didn't put everything, all the improvements that we needed to do, we would probably not qualify. We would not meet the standard score. I think it was 440 or 450. So I would agree with Director Anderson.
So any kind of, so the entire project will have a series of rate increases that will be required to pay for this project. And the repayment of through the loan program through the state is due, first payment is due 12 months after substantial completion. So we have a 2035 deadline to have these improvements in place in order to meet the EPA requirements that are the reason why we have to do all these improvements. So it's probably going to be sometime in 2036 so that our first payment will be made. So it's going to be a series of rate increases from now till then to generate the revenue needed to pay for this project. So any interest that you put on the interfund transfer loan would have to be included in those rate increases. So as such, I would recommend a 0% just to keep those rate increases as minimal as we can.
Alderman Peterson.
I don't disagree with either points, and I guess I would also add that as long as the general fund can do it without injuring it, being injured itself.
We can.
Yeah, we've reviewed that, and that's the case, and that's why we're suggesting this option.
You know, and I think it's important that the council understand that the 84% of the improvements are unfunded mandates. And, you know, it is, to me, it's upsetting that you have these mandates that are being put into place, and yet you have no funding other than the low-interest loan, but you have no match of funds and what have you. And Belvedere's in a pretty good spot right now, but there are a lot of communities that obviously that would probably, that would be a no-go for them. And so the unfunded mandates are a big problem. I have been in touch with some federal legislators to try and coax them as to how we might meet our obligation, and they might step forward with some of their own. And I'll continue to do that, but as of right now, these unfunded mandates are something that we have to plan for. It's not like, it's like Director Anderson said, it's a long-range plan and it's a busy plan, but we have to get started somewhere. So, but unfortunately, they are unfunded, and here we are. So, all right, we have that motion on the floor. Is there any other questions or comments regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to weigh in. We'll try and answer them. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed. All right, motion passed. And if anybody's going to abstain, I suppose, speak up. All right, motion passed, thank you. Item 2 in the memo is a motion to approve the engineering services work order from Baxter Woodman in the lump sum amount of $1,882,982 to complete the preliminary engineering for the wastewater treatment facility Plan Improvement Project. This work will be paid for from Sewer Department Depreciation Line Item 61-1790 with a loan that we had talked about from the general fund. So if I could have a motion to that effect, motion by Alderman Hoynes, thank you, second by Alderman Peterson, thank you both. Any questions, any comments regarding the motion on the floor? If we haven't covered it, we'll try and answer any of those questions. Alderwoman Graham-Kowski?
Thank you, Mayor. So taking a loan from the general fund, is this common practice? We're not going to get hit with anything?
Well, it's a question of financially whether or not we can do it, and we can. But we have to get, the alternative, I suppose, would be to go out and obtain funding, which then would have an attached interest rate. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, if it would be customary if the money wasn't going to come back into the city coffers, but it will. And Director Anderson, if you wanted to add anything, but.
No, I just point that out, that again, in the bottom line, in the end, the overall end, the water and sewer fund will pay for all the costs associated with the project. It's just a short-term bridge loan, if you will, from the general fund until the funding's available from IEPA.
Okay. Any other questions, any comments? Feel free to ask. All right, hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If there's any noes, same sign. And any abstentions, speak up. All right, motion passed, thank you. Item D, on our agenda this evening, in your packet is a memo dated 9/3 from Director Anderson regarding intersection review at Willow and Douglas. Director Anderson, I see you have some information in here.
Correct, Your Honor. We had a request from citizen in the area there to review this intersection, with the main concern being the intersection is unmarked. The property owner had indicated there's been at least 2 accidents there that she's witnessed. However, police were not involved in either one of those, and that bears out with the accident history through the police department that there has not been any accidents there. Traffic volume, they're about equally split between the 2 streets, 250 and 250 each. I'll notice that the east leg of the intersection on Willow only has 100. It's a dead end on Willow. 2 blocks to the east. There was some sight distance limitation with some trees in the intersection. Those have been eliminated. Those have been removed as of this date. Based on review of the intersection, I would recommend that traffic on Willow Street yield to traffic on Douglas Street. And if the council so moves, then there will be an ordinance done to that effect.
Okay. Okay, that is the recommendation. If I could have a motion to that effect, at least for discussion's sake. Motion by Alderwoman Frank, thank you, and a second. Anybody? Alderwoman Graham-Kowski, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. If there's any other discussion, feel free to weigh in. Alderwoman Frank.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is my ward. Director Anderson, would you just put a sign that says yield? Is that the only thing that'll change?
Yeah, there'll be, as the map shows attached, there'll be yield signs installed at Willow at the intersection.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion then to recommend installing a traffic control device, yield sign, that traffic on Willow Street will yield to traffic on Douglas Street. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you. And item E in your packet There's a memo again from Director Anderson dated 9/4/2025 regarding a bond reduction for the Kelly property located on Irene Road. Director Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. The current bond amount of $700,000 for the Irene Road portion of the Kelly Farm subdivision may be reduced to $133,512. The reduced amount represents the balance of the Irene Road construction cost to be paid for by IDOT. The bond may be released when the final payment is received from IDOT. So in the last couple of weeks, we've got the final payments from DCEO for the $700,000. We have received 95% of the economic development funds from IDOT. So this $133,512 remainder is the 5% of the EDP grant funds and the additional cost that IDOT is 100% responsible for that occurred in their right-of-way. We're just waiting for all of the paperwork has been submitted to Dixon, and we're just waiting for their review and Bureau of Materials to get caught up with all the inspection reports and everything to get those payments. So again, once we do receive those payments from IDOT, then the bond can be released. Until then, we need the $133,512 to remain in place.
What type of action did you want on this, Director?
We need a motion to be able to reduce it from
All right.
$700,000 to $133,512.
All right. If I could get a motion to that effect. Motion by Alderman Peterson, thank you. Second by Alderman Hoynes, thank you both. Any questions regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. Brent, when can we anticipate the rest of this?
Well, we send in the final paperwork, the final pay requests and the change orders were sent in March to IDOT. Through the duration of this project, IDOT Bureau of Materials switched their reporting standards, so we had to go back and update our reports to the new standard and get those submitted. The last of those were done a week or two ago, so I'm hoping within the next 30 to 60 days, hopefully, we'll get close out.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions regarding the motion on the floor? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
If there's any opposed or any abstentions. All right, motion passed, thank you. Thank you, Director. Item 5, other, we have none. Item 6, new business. Item A in your packet is Deer Hills 1 and 2 forced annexations. In your packet from City Attorney Drella is a memo regarding forced and voluntary annexations. There's 2 motions that are recommended. City Attorney?
So the first one on the agenda is the Deer Hills 1 and 2 forced annexations. Alderman Peterson alluded to that concept a little while ago. Illinois state law has multiple ways to annex property. The one we always use is called a voluntary annexation, which is what we did for all the previous properties in Deer Hills and Deer Woods, as well as the property on Chrysler Drive. One of the other methods is we call it forced annexation. That's not the real name for it. But a municipality that completely surrounds a property that is less than 60 acres in size, after giving proper notice to the property owners, and the township can basically pass an ordinance annexing that land. As you recall, when we did all these properties, one of the concept was if we annex enough land to where we surround a few of the holdouts, then we could force annex them. That's exactly what we're doing. So the first item on the agenda, the forced annexations, involves 4 properties. One of them was planned to be a forced annexation from the get-go. It's the condominiums on the west side of Beaver Valley Road that we excluded from a voluntary annexation to start this whole mess for strategic reasons. So that one was planned all along. The other 3 are holdouts, only one of which is currently vacant. That's 318 Brockett Trail. In each of the 3 cases, there are actually recent sales of the houses that were in the middle of all this, so homeowners frankly just might not have been up to speed under what was going on, but they have never responded to our request to file petitions. So the recommended motion is to approve an ordinance to annex those 4 properties under the statute that involves 60 acres or less, and the proposed motion is in the memo.
And that motion would be to approve an ordinance annexing certain properties commonly known as 314 Brockett Trail, 318 Brockett Trail, 684 Red Deer Trail, and the townhomes existing in the harbor at Beaver Creek to the city of Belvedere pursuant to 65 ILCS 5/7-1-13. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Peterson, second by Alderwoman Gramkowski. Thank you both. Any questions or comments regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed or any abstentions? All right, motion passed, thank you. And then in your memo is a recommended motion 2. That would be motion to approve an ordinance annexing certain property commonly known as 319 Whitetail Trail, 365 Whitetail Trail, 5049 Smokethorn Trail, and 560 Smokethorn Trail to the city of Belvedere pursuant to the same 65 ILCS 5/7-1-8. If I could have a motion to that effect, motion by Alderman Hoynes, thank you. And a second by Alderman Stevens. Thank you both.
And this is a voluntary annexation. Each of these properties did file petitions to annex. They came in actually before we took action on the big ones that we did a few weeks ago, but after we published to do it, so I couldn't sneak them in. All these properties are improved already with houses, with the exception of one that was bought by an adjoining property owner that was in the county and put his driveway across it. So it's improved, but with a driveway, not a house. So the recommended motion be to approve the annexation of those lots. Which
All
has been
right.
made.
All right, we have that motion on the floor. Thank you for that, Attorney Drella. We have that motion on the floor. So if there's any other questions, any questions regarding the motion, feel free to ask, and this will bring us, this is it, isn't it?
There's one lot remaining that's not addressed. It is the far northeast section of Deer Hills 2. It's not surrounded. It is vacant, and it's owned by a corporation that has never responded to us. I believe it's South California, but don't quote me on that. And the plan was, rather than sue them to enforce the annexation agreement, have to find them, just let them skate for the time being, because if they want to do anything with it, like build on it, they're gonna have to come to us anyway. So, it's not bad for 100 some odd lots out there, and only one is gonna be left out in the cold.
No, it wasn't bad, not in such a short period of time either, so. Very good, very good. All right, is any other questions? Now be the time to ask. And hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed or abstentions? All right, motion passed, thank you. All right, thank you for all your work on that, City Attorney, appreciate it. Item C, sale of fire engine 103. In your packet was a memo from Chief Shadle regarding the sale of engine 103, which is a 1993 Sutphen. All the information is there. Chief, good evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Sutphen engine, like Mayor said, is a 1993. It's 32 years old. We've rebuilt that motor twice. We've rebuilt the transmission once, and now the pump is failing. We actually took it out of service completely in 2017. We resurrected it in 2022 when our O2 LaFrance had a catastrophic failure. So we fixed it up enough, and we've been utilizing it as a reserve engine, and it's served us well for those almost 3 years. Now I'm requesting to sell it for those reasons. The bottom line is the condition the pump is in, I don't believe it to be as reliable as I would like. It's one of those parts could let go. The piping itself is deteriorating, which is hard on the pump. The cost to replace the pump would then still have a whole checklist of things to replace afterwards. To do that, 32 years is well behind the standard normal service life of a fire engine. So I'm looking for a motion to authorize the sale of the 93 Sutphen Engine 103 by any legal means.
All right. If I could get a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you both. I think the condition report that you have in the memos, Chief, is striking. Not only the 32 years of age, it doesn't meet the current safety standards such as rollover protection, airbags, nor backup cameras. It has 130,000 miles, 14,000 engine hours, representing significant wear. The engine has been rebuilt twice, as you had said, and cannot be rebuilt a third time. Several mechanical components are wearing out. The water pump, as you mentioned, transfer case gears, along with deteriorating chassis parts, which you would expect on a 32-year-old vehicle. Areas of the water pump piping and valving are deteriorating, causing leaks and sending debris into the pump, which will damage it further. So I think you make a good case for it's outlived its usefulness, and all good things come to an end. So we have that motion on the floor. If there's any other questions, Alderman Peterson first.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Realistically, no other department's gonna be interested, right? I mean, you're talking about getting ahold of somebody like Joe Bear and just having it salvaged?
So it still runs, and it still pumps. We didn't elect to pay the money to see if the pump would pass its pump test. It did pass it a year ago. What we'll do is we'll list it on a government auction site and see what it brings us. We could probably set the reserve at the scrap level. So if no one buys it for more than it would scrap out at, then we would accept the payment for the scrap value of it.
And I can confirm that Public Works is not interested in this one.
I think Jordan needs to do it.
If it only had hydraulics.
All right. Any other questions, Alderman Albertini?
Thank you, Mayor. Are we gonna need to be replacing this vehicle then, or?
It is extremely nice to have a reserve engine. It is something that is not in the capital plan at this time. I was hoping to extend it a couple years from now. We have engine in our capital plan. We only approve that 1 year at a time, though. So right now, the consideration is when any of our frontline engines are getting maintenance, or if they need repairs, we operate on the ladder truck, which does have the same 1500 GPM pump, has everything that the engine has. The downfall to that is that that is a 2011, and I'm trying to preserve that as much as possible. Those are up over $2.5 million now. So that will be the consideration, that'll be the discussion at budget time to see that. There is nothing planned for immediately, though. It was more just that I didn't feel comfortable running it anymore, so it didn't make sense to have it sitting there when we might be able to get some value for it while it's operating condition.
All right, thank you, Chief. So I got a feeling we're gonna be hearing from you in the future about a request for a truck.
So it would be during budget process this winter. Mayor, I got to 100% feel comfortable with the recommendation that I'm giving you guys when I do that, and so it would be also involve a discussion with administration and finance as well during budget time. But it would have to show up obviously as a capital. So as of right now, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Shadle regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. I think also what it boils down to is that unfortunately, this truck, if we hang on to this truck, which we could hang on to this truck, we will get scrap value, or we'll have a truck that we can't drive. It's already well past its life expectancy, well past it. Chief, what do these normally last? This one's 32, but what normally do we have expectations out of these when they start looking to?
Every department's a little different because every department runs X number of runs on their engine. So, City of Rockford is like 5 years. So 5 years frontline, 5 years reserve. So, we're not as busy as their busiest engines, so ours are able to last quite a bit longer. It is pretty standard though to not use an engine past 15 years. If I had to, so there is no standard from NFPA on X number of years, because some volunteer departments, they might run 100 calls a year, right? So the engine will last a really long time and not have a lot of hours on it. Ours, we're utilizing all the time. So if I had to say a standard would be no more than 20 years is normal, with most of them being out of service after 15.
Okay. Thank you. All right, any other questions, any comments? Feel free to weigh in. Hearing none, then we have the motion on the floor to authorize the sale of the 1993 Sutphen engine, number 103. If there's no other questions, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. Moving on, item D, Fire Station 1 and 2 concrete projects, which are projects 1 through 3. In your packet is a memo from Chief Shadle again regarding those concrete projects and with a background relative to the projects. Chief?
Thank you, sir. In your packet in the memo, I'll just make a couple highlights. So we solicited bids for 4 projects that we had capitalized in the capital budget in hopes that we'd be able to get them done. I've talked about them quite a bit, so I'll save the time tonight. Project 1 is the Station 2 concrete approach. Project 2 is the Station 1 concrete approach. Project 3 is the station trench drain inside of Station 2. And Project 4 is the refinishing of the Station 2 bay floor. With the solicitation of bids, we only received bids from 2 contractors. So on project, and one of the contractors was the low bid on 3 of them that I'm going to roll into this first motion if possible, and I'll explain why. So Scandrolli Construction was the low bid on Project 1 at $48,825. Project 2, Scandrolli Construction was the low bid at $37,900. Project 3, the trench drain system, Scandrolli Construction was the low bid at $36,850. Additionally, Scandrolli offered a $1,500 discount if projects 1 and 3 were awarded. And so I want to deal with the 4th project separately in the next motion, but for those 3, the recommended motion is to contract with the low bidder, Scandrolli Construction, to complete projects 1 through 3 for a sum of $122,075 to be paid for with capital funds.
All right, if I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you both. Any questions, any comments regarding those? They are all the low bid. They all are a safety concern, Chief, correct?
That's correct. It's actually been on the capital plan for, this is the 3rd time. We're really hoping for some grant funding to cover the cost. I will say Scandrolli's prices were really good. They were both prices were actually decent considering the current climate. But yeah, back to the safety. The trench drain is a walkway inside of the living space, and so it is a trip hazard. And so the sooner we can get that fixed. The aprons, each year, Public Works has been patching with blacktop on the concrete just to make them as smooth as possible. And with the drains and the grate system, there's not a whole lot that we can do other than cutting them out and putting them back in.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments? Alderman Peterson.
Chief, just a question on the apron for Station 1. Has that been repaired or replaced lately?
No, so if you remember back a year or two ago, the curb was replaced in front of both stations. So that was something separate. I'm not sure where the funding for that came from. I think it was grant funded through Public Works, but that was just the curb.
You might remember, Brent, it seemed to me that years ago that the city had some kind of a network down there that steam pipes traversed, that there might be like box culverts or something underneath that part of the State Street sidewalk for our old city steam system.
That was all removed as part of the streetscape project.
Okay, so that's already been dealt with in front of that station. Okay, I was gonna say, I thought I remembered that there was something that was pretty dicey.
Yeah, there was an extensive network of steam ducts and tunnels throughout the downtown area that were all filled and abandoned as part of the streetscape project.
So this is basically updating what was done in whatever that was, 87 or 88?
Streetscape was done, I believe, in 85, I believe.
Okay. Good point, thank you. The other thing is, I am trying to get, and I should have had it by now, but some grant money for this. So I intend to be able to go continue to seek that. I was told we have it, but unfortunately, we will run out. This is seasonal work, and I know the chief, we had budgeted for this, but the chief certainly is running out of time to be able to get this done. You want to have concrete be able to cure, and you want to be able to do it while it still is able to cure. So that's where we're at. So we have that motion then on the floor. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you. And then the chief had talked about item E a little bit, the fire station 1 and 2 concrete project 4. Chief, I know you've got another memo in the packet dated 9/4 regarding project 4. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. As part of that RFP, the project 4 was resurfacing and redoing the epoxy after the trench drains were replaced and cut in at Station 2. We only received one bid, and also we utilized all of our budgeted capital fund for those projects into what we approved there. So to ensure competitive pricing as well, since we only got the one, I recommend that we reject the sole bid and do a full rebidding of the project at a later date. So the recommended motion is motion to reject the bid from Scandrolli Construction in the amount of $49,500 for project 4, Station 2 apparatus bay floor refinish.
All right, thank you, Chief. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Hoynes, second by Alderman Albertini. Thank you both. Any questions or comments regarding that motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you. And that is all we have on the agenda. However, I did want to mention to the council that this Friday, the 12th, at 9 a.m., we have a swearing-in of new Belvedere Police Department officer, Raymond. And I know that, Chief Woody and DC Byrd and DC Smaha will be here. And I certainly want to welcome the council. In the past, some of the council members have been able to come, and certainly you are welcome. Feel free to come down here at 9 o'clock, and as we swear in Officer Raymond. So, Chief, did you have anything to add?
No, Mayor, thank you.
All right. All right, thank you very much, and that is all we have. If I could have a motion to adjourn, please. Motion by Alderwoman Gramkowski, second by Alderman Albertini. Thank you both. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody want to stay? All right, for the record, we adjourned at 6:57 PM. Thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your evening.